Let's continue with part 6. This will be for drivers and a little bit of the mount rig. Also, we will try and fix some of the weight paint issues with the hand now that after we add the driver. Okay, let's get started. So I'm going to select the armature right here, and I'm going to go to edit mode. All right, so we will pick a bone right here, which is the middle finger 1. Okay, I'm gonna press well, let me turn on my screencast, make sure you can see what I'm doing. All right, right there. We're gonna press E to extrude, and then Z axis, so that when we extrude it just goes up. All right, there it is. Okay, so this one we will and this is the dot L. This is the left side. So I will first do an Alt P. Let's disconnect the bone, and then Alt P again, clear the parent, just so that we want to make sure that that's not connected to anything. Okay. All right, we're gonna lift this up just a bit, like so that we could see the controller away from the main bone controller right here, which is the hand controller. Okay. This particular one will not deform, so let's go here and uncheck deform. Let's give it a name. This is just, it's finger curl.l, so you can put finger curl.l right there. And we need another one on the other side. Okay. Drivers, as far as I know, they still do not symmetrize, so we're going to have to do those manually, not unless there's an update that I'm not aware of, but it's good for practice. So now that we named that, we uncheck deform. It's not connected, it's not parented. We can right click this and then symmetrize. We get another one over there, and we'll go back to that. Okay. All right, so now that we have our controller, actually let's let me, so that we're consistent with our naming. So dot controller dot L. Okay. And the other one, we're gonna put that same name, dot controller dot R. Yep, there we go. All right, just so that we know those are the controllers and they're both non-deforming. Okay, so let's set up our drivers. Drivers are basically an extension of a controller or a bone that you can it's like parenting it, but it can automate the process. Okay, so I'm going to go to post mode right here. So we know for a fact that our fingers, they do curl along the Z axis once we're in local mode. So let's change this to from global to local. So when we're animating, we're in local. Okay, there's the Z axis right there. And if I turn on my sidebar, Z axis right here on rotation. All right, so there it is. So you can kind of see that that's the kind of like the automated curling also, because we have the copy rotation. Okay, so right here we know for a fact we're not going to scale this. We're going to lock those, and then the location we're not going to move it also. We do, however, want to rotate this sometimes along the let me turn on the axis for now so we get to see it. So there will be some X rotation, all right, but definitely no Y rotation. So we're going to lock that. So it's just Z and X. Okay, let's start with this one first. And we want to do add, we want to add a, we want to add a driver for it along the Z axis. Okay. And let me just save this now, save as. We're going to go part 6. And this will be our drivers. Okay. And we'll have more driver lesson in the shape key lesson, which is part 7. So, all right. Okay, so we have incremental stuff. So, all right, so we have this selected Z axis. Okay. So, and let's kind of do the same thing on all this. So we're going to lock those functions that we're not going to animate. Okay. So we're going to start with this. So we're just going to go here along the Z rotation. We're going to right click this. You can also do it right here under the bone. Okay. But we have the sidebar open. Right click, add driver. Okay. And we're going to leave it as type scripted expression because we're going to need some expression right here. And we're going to select the object, which is the armature. And you're in post mode when you're doing this, by the way. Okay, let me go back there. If you happen to lose that, you can open a window and make it static in there. Or you can also right click and edit driver if you lose this window. Okay, armature, and then the bone that needs to control that would be the curl dot L. Okay, and we're going to go with the x-axis location, which is back and forth on the bone, and then local space right here. So all that did is when we select this one and when we move it along the x-axis. So all right, so no need to go here and then do the rotation. We can just do a movement right here and we'll do that. Okay, the problem with this is when we move it, it takes a long way for it before it can curl the finger right there. So we need to edit our driver, give it an expression. So instead of moving it all the way here, we just want to move it a little bit right here. So that particular movement, okay, we want to multiply that, let's say by 5 or 10, depending on how short you want the movement to be. Okay, and so once we have it right here, we move it just slightly, and maybe over there it will do the entire curl. Okay, so make sure your XYZ, I right click to cancel that, so there's no movement here and staying this way. Okay, so let's select this again, and you know there's a driver because the input is purple. So I'm going to right click and edit under the expression var, replace that with asterisk, which is multiplication, and then type in 5. Okay, update dependency right here. Okay, and make sure you're in local space. All right, X location. All right, so when we do that, when I move this one, so instead of going all the way there, I just move it here and it did the curl already. So we basically did 1/5 of the travel. Okay, so by simply adding an expression there, you're multiplying the distance. Okay, so all right, so that's done right there. So all we have to do now is apply the driver to the rest of the fingers right here. Okay, so I'm going to select the first bone that we added the driver, right click it, and just copy the driver. Go to each bone where the Z rotation is, paste the driver, paste driver. Now when we grab this, there it is. So we do have to fix, now that we can easily do this, we can fix the weight painting issues right here. So before that though, we do want this to have a limit so it doesn't go too crazy. You know, we want to kind of just curl it, and we don't want to go the kind of like the opposite way. Okay, but first things first, let's go to edit mode. Let's parent this to the hand controller. Okay, so select this first, then shift click the hand controller, Control P, keep offset. That way when we do a let's say when we grab the hand, it just kind of follows and we can go. All right, so let's undo all that. Okay, so now it's parented. So now let's put a limit to this. So while the controller is selected, we go to our constraint, we add a bone constraint right here, limit location. Okay, we want this in local space. You want to turn on everything, including effect transform, so we get the values right here. And that's along the x-axis, so we just want to make sure that this one will go around there. Okay, around here right here. So my my info here is telling me right here that it's probably 0.14 right there. Okay, so I'm gonna go 0, limit on the minimum, and here we go 0.14. Okay, so now when I grab this, I probably could use a little bit, well, probably that's fine right there. Okay, or we can go 0.15, so we get a little bit more. All right, it's probably good because we will paint this, and this will kind of recede a little bit here. You can add a driver for your thumb right here, but the thumb is quite complex. It's not just kind of curling them. So we're going to leave this as is. So it's up to you later to what you want to do with the thumb regarding how you want to position it. Okay. So we can just kind of leave that to your discretion. Okay. How you want that kind of done. All right, but I'm gonna kind of leave it like that. You can add a driver if you want, but this driver is now done. So as a practice, let's do the whole thing for this side right here. Okay, so we select the finger curl. Doesn't matter which one because you're gonna copy and paste later. All right, so we select this. This is the main one. When we do an RZ, it does that, right? So that'll be on a Z. We're going to lock all the scale and position and the y-axis. So let's do the same thing for the rest right here, just so that we know we have kind of like a guide on what we're animating, right? So no scaling, no changing in position. And we mentioned at the very beginning that this character is very limited in what it can do, even though it's advanced rigging. This character is not going to be playing the piano. It's not going to be typing or anything. It's just something where you can close the fist like so, curl the fingers, and then grab an object. So that was that's the purpose, all right? And you create rig based on the purpose of the animation, all right? So keep that in mind. All right, so let's go here. That's the Z-axis. Right click it, add driver. Okay. And we know we're going to be changing that expression, so we'll do that last. So the armature, because we only have one. Okay, and then bone right here will be the curl.r. We want this on local space, very important. And then the x-axis location, right? And we're in local. Okay, so let's edit this. Okay, and then let's put the expression now. That's asterisk 5 update. Okay, so when I grab this and then along the x-axis, there's the curl. All right, so first let's copy this. Copy driver, select the middle, paste it. Let's do a test. All right, right click to cancel. Then on this one we add a limit location, world space, put a check mark on all this. Okay, and then we're just going to reverse the x, so it's 0 on the other one, and then 0.15 on the maximum. This one we're going to do 0 on the maximum because it's on the other side, right? So remember, we at the front we are in the center where the coordinate 0 0, positive numbers on the right side of the screen, which is the left side of your character, and then negative on this one. So we're going to go negative 0.15. Okay, and then there's kind of like the limit right there. Okay, and we go to edit mode here. Make sure that this one is parented to the hand controller. Control P, keep offset. And let's go here real quick just to kind of test that. Okay, there you go. There's the hand curl right there. And then let's do a quick maintenance on our weight paint now that we can see this better. Okay, so it'll be promise it will be quick. So select the armature first, shift click the mesh, then go to weight paint. Okay, and if we click alt right here, so I'm gonna go here and go x-ray so I can see that bone right there. Okay, so if we go to the bone here, so alt click that bone inside, as you can see it's doing not such a good job of influencing the hand. Okay, so let's paint this, and we still have the old I'm gonna put the check mark on front faces right there. Symmetry still on X, and then auto normalize still here. The reason for this is I don't want to accidentally paint underneath the palm right here where I'll hit the finger. So I'm going to put a check mark on front faces only. Okay. And right here, we want to influence this. Okay. All the way close to where the knuckles would be. All right, here we go. As you can see, we start kind of deform that. Okay. Let's go over here. And oh, maybe that's too much. We'll see. All right, and then here at the bottom, we do want to influence more on this. Okay. All right, so let's select each individual finger right here. So I'm going to click Alt. All right, so you can see here it's having influence on area it's not supposed to. All right, so kind of right here. So I'm going to hit Control, hold down Control to do a negative effect on adding to the influence. So this is basically getting rid of the influence. Okay. All right, right here, just kind of keep that area to the area of that finger. Okay. There we go. And then definitely no influence here. And since we're doing symmetry, this is happening on the other side as well. Okay, so I'll lessen the influence there. Looks like I'm gonna have to stretch this arms a little bit, fingers a little bit. So I'm gonna click Alt on the controller and then just press G and kind of move that. All right, so maybe like that. Okay, let's go back to Alt clicking. Fingers right here, so definitely hold down Control. We don't want it influencing that area. It's beyond its limit. Okay. Alt. All right, there you go. Now I'm gonna click Alt, click this bone. Same thing. Hold down Control and then lessen the influence. Okay. Definitely here. We want to give that to the hand bone. Okay, and then Alt click the pinky. All right, it even has influence all the way here, so that's why it moves kind of weird when we curl the finger before. We haven't done I haven't demoed you know, how to kind of fix that because we just kind of left that alone. But now that we can see this, it's a lot easier. Okay, so that's that, and let's click that bone in the hand bone, and let's take a look at the influence here. All right, so hopefully that would be good enough right there. Let's select the thumb right here. Let's see. All right, it's probably doing too much right here, so hold down Control. There we go. We just want to kind of leave it to what it will affect. All right. Okay, now let's Alt click this, press G so we can do. All right. Yeah, we're getting the fold right there, which is at least the palm doesn't shrink anymore, and I think that's good enough. All right, let's see. Let's go to object mode, and this should. Let me wait for my computer to kind of. All right, save this, and let's take a look. We're gonna go to post mode. And let's just kind of take a look at the all right, okay, that's much better deformation on that one. Let's go over here. All right, drivers, and we got our weight painting. Okay, that's good. All right, now let's select this while we're in post mode. Let's go to our armature, sorry, right here. Octahedral, display as octahedral. Let's change that to stick so that we could see them much smaller. Okay, easier to grab, except for that hand right there. It's yeah, we're gonna have some custom shapes for it. All right, so here the idea here is that we have two kind of mouth positions, I mean a jaw kind of bone right here, so we can have independent lower lip. Okay, so we want to this one is along the x-axis right there, so I'm going to do RX. Okay, so when we want this bone right here, which is the lower, what do we call this one? The bottom lip, to kind of follow that. Okay, so let's add the constraints for it. So let's go here, add a bone constraint. So we want to follow the rotation and location. But let me show you first what the location on this. So if I press G, as you can see, you can have that kind of chewing motion right there, or grinding of teeth kind of movement. And we do want to follow both. So we're going to add a copy location, okay, and then world space, local space, and then the object, it will be the armature, of course, and then the bone is the jaw, right? That lower part right there, okay? So by doing that, when we select this and move it, as you can see, there's that part right there. We probably have to reposition the tongue right there. I positioned it wrong, it's too high, okay? All right, and then right now, if I do RX, it's not following the rotation, so we want to add another bone constraint here to copy the rotation, okay? We want to copy the armature's jawbone, okay, right there. And we want to go to local space on both. However, on the mix, because right now, if I just rotate this, okay, and I want to rotate this one, it doesn't have any independence because it's copying it exactly. However, if we, on this bone, the copy rotation, we change the mix to after original, we get access to the independent rotation of the bottom lip. Okay, that's all there is to it. So I added a copy location, both local space, copy rotation, both local space, and the mix is after original. Okay, so that's pretty much done with our setup here. We can now I mean, you can even scale this. I mean, so I don't know if that's something you would want to do with your animation, but definitely the rotation for this, we will probably rotate this along the X, of course, that's the opening and closing, and then RY is probably not something where we can do where we pivot the jaw like that. So that's definitely why we're going to lock that. We're not going to allow it. What about Z? So RZ, probably like when you kind of pivot there and then grind it. So that's allowed right there. Definitely XYZ on the location is happening. However, if you don't want it to go back like so, okay, so that would be the Y axis. So you can lock that so that when you move it, okay, you can go left, right, up and down. And if you, but we're probably gonna put it back on, because if you want to do kind of like an underbite, okay, or you can scale that. So let's do that. Let's lock that, and then the scale. Yeah, we can definitely do that. So, but we didn't copy scale, so just want to kind of see this right here. Okay, so if you want to do an underbite, it can be done on that one. Okay, so we're gonna lock the scaling on this, so we're not scaling it, and on this one probably just the Y-axis. Okay, so we can still scale, kind of protrude that a little bit if we want to, a little bit cartoony effect. Okay, all right, so drivers are done, weight paint for the hands done, rig for the mouth is done. And the next step right now would be to create the shape keys.